Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. I have with me Zahra Ayubi, who is here to speak with you today and tell her story. And I'll pass the floor on to Zahra.
Today is a very tough day. We buried Mustafa yesterday, and first of all, I want to thank everybody who came and supported us at the funeral, and all the flowers and all the love. Mustafa was my younger brother. We were five. Three older sisters, and then Mustafa, and then my younger brother. He was the genius of the family. He was very, very smart. I'm 14 months older than him. However, we started high school at the same time. We were in the same classes. And I just remember being jealous because he was so smart. I would go home and I would study so hard in high school, just at least, oh my gosh, maybe I was dumb, but I studied so hard. I wanted to get A's, and then which I did, but he would never study. He would just pay attention in class, and he graduated high honor roll. And then he went to Kelly School of Business, and he just, he did well. So he was very smart. He also used to have a lot of general information. He used to watch documentaries and did research, so he had information about everything. Mustafa was very loving, very caring. He was so funny. He had a sense of humor, and he touched people in a way that they just can't forget. Yesterday at the funeral, we had people who knew him for 14 years, for life, and also people who knew him for a day, and they were crying for him because he had touched him in a very special way. Mustafa was very, very funny. Each time we talk about his memories, we see people just laughing. And that is the type of a person that is missing from our lives right now. We were, as five siblings, we were like a flock. We were always together. We would just sit on one bed and just talk, and we were each other's rock, and I think that has shaken right now. At this point, obviously we cannot bring Mustafa back. He's gone. However, I know a lot of people care, and I ask whoever cares for him to just hold in their cities and states vigils in memory of Mustafa and anybody else who suffered from this type of crime, and just to pray for him and also spread awareness about what happened and include everybody to just keep him alive in their memories. And just to support his campaign, it's hashtag justice for Mustafa. It's for the number 4, and so we can do something about what happened to him. Again, thank you. Words can't explain how my family feels right now. We are very broken. But Mustafa was so charming, so handsome, that each time we think about him, we can't help but to smile. And we would like to keep it that way.
Mind if we ask you a few questions? I know police right now are looking into this, calling this a road rage incident. And I know you and your family have already touched on this, looking into pushing federal authorities to look into it as a hate crime. Can you touch on that and tell us why?
And I think I spoke before. I think the reason why is because it is what it is. It was a hate crime. And that doesn't come from me. I wasn't at the scene, but from witnesses and evidence, it was. There was exchange of racial and religious comments that was thrown at him before he was killed, and in the way that he was killed. It means a lot, not just for my family, but also there are families who live here in other counties and other states that they could suffer from this. And the reason why my family wants to push for this is because we don't want anybody else to lose a brother, an uncle, a nephew, a friend, the way we did Mustafa. So we just ask that the authorities investigate this as a hate crime, so we can get justice for Mustafa and also avoid this from happening again to anybody else.
Sorry. Just for the record, it was not an exchange of words. It was just a one-way, just a flurry of slurs that were
Yes.
hurled at him by the assailant. So it was not an exchange, just to clarify. It was toward him from the assailant, and the 3 witnesses have reported that to law enforcement.
Everyone deals with grief very differently. I understand you obviously have a huge hole in your heart right now. What message, if you could get one, to the suspect in all of this, who's getting ready to go to court here in a few minutes, what was your message to him? What would you say to him?
I don't know anything about him. I don't know his history. I don't know what he thought, why. And I think my question is why. And I don't know if any questions from him would bring Mustafa back, but I just request from our community that we just spread some type of awareness, and we just know, and we need to be united as a humankind before any religion comes into play. We need to be human, and we just need to understand each other and just love and care for each other before we take such an action. So I don't have any questions for him besides just questioning why. But just I would ask awareness as a community.
Have you or other members of your family or Mustafa experienced any sort of religious intolerance in Indiana? And how long have you lived here?
We moved here in 2001. We went to me and Mustafa, we started high school here. That was the community we grew up. It was supportive. We grew up in Indianapolis, and there were certain occasions, but not to the effect. I guess that's why maybe it was so unreal to us till what happened. I know it had touched a lot of people's lives, but we are not a very super radical or conservative family. We are liberal, we're very accepting. We have people who are Christians, Jews, Americans, in my family who are part of my family. And we are accepting and tolerant of everybody. So I guess if something like this were happen to my family, maybe we don't even dress like what you would expect as a Muslim, and something like that to happen to somebody like that is just very scary, that what could happen to anybody else who actually maybe dresses in a certain way or even looks in a certain way. So as a community, I know it has happened before, but we just ask for more awareness in Indiana.
Do you think Indiana needs a hate crimes law?
It does. And I know they're currently working on it, so hopefully we can see something. We can see that our lawmakers in our community is supportive of all the people who live in this community, and not just the majority or a certain type of race. So we want to be inclusive as a community and include everybody. So these kind of crimes are taken seriously, and to make sure this doesn't happen again to anybody else.
The arrest affidavit refers to the three witnesses and says that they said that Mustafa had used a religious slur against the suspect, referencing Judaism and using the word racist as well. Is that a change?
We can't comment on the specifics. The prosecutors and the public defenders will discuss the specifics of the case, but today we won't comment on the specifics of the proceedings.
You did say earlier that you maintain that the slurs were one way.
Yes, so that's what the witnesses have said, and that's what the media has also reported, and that's the documentation we've seen. Can you repeat? Can you tell us again about the video and what you're asking people to do?
Yes, and again, in the memory of Mustafa, and we ask that people who care to hold vigils in their cities, and just to support Mustafa and his campaign with the hashtag Justice for Mustafa. It's number 4, and to just support this cause.
Before you go, would you spell your name and tell us how old you are?
Sure. It's Zahra and Ayubi, Ayoubi, 33.
Can you also tell us which college and law school you went to, just to...
Sure. I went to Indiana University, Bloomington for my undergrad and graduate, and then I went to IU McKinney School of Law for my JD and LLM.
What high school did you go to?
We attended Pike North Central High School, and then graduated from Pike High School.
Great, thank you, everyone. Thank you. We'll walk this way here.